in that survey, 54%, and again, this is an example of an unexamined thought process. 54% of the 18 to 24-year-olds who were surveyed in this poll agreed with the statement, the state of Israel should not exist. So that's 54%. It's not 10% or 20%. So that means the majority of people between 18 and 24 believe the state of Israel should not exist. Yeah. I mean, do you think that's quite a horrific statistic? And is that what you believed, the way people are thinking? Is that what you believe people are thinking out there at the moment? Young people are thinking?
No. And I don't think... When you do these surveys, it depends who you ask, where you ask them, so we don't know. But let's take that figure is correct. Our education system is so poor in this country, most young people couldn't find Israel on the map.
Yeah.
Most young people have got no idea about Israel, wouldn't know the history of Israel, wouldn't know why it was set up, how it was set up. And I'm not saying I'm a supporter of Israel. I don't care one way or the other. It's not my concern. But I do know the history founding of Israel, and I've been to Israel. But our young people now know nothing. They don't know anything. All they know is which side you need to be on to be a good person. And Israel now is perceived as the oppressor, and the Palestinians are perceived as the oppressed. And as a young person, well, I'm on the side of the oppressed. It makes me a good person. A lot of young people now got no idea about Nazi Germany and what the Jews went through. I'd say 100% of young people have got no idea before Nazi Germany what the Jews went through in Russia and across Europe, being expelled. I mean, young people don't even know why we have Jews in Europe, because we were expelled out of the Middle East. So our education system is to blame for a lot of this stuff.
But to me, the Jewish, the Holocaust, 6 million Jews killed in the Second World War. To me, it's not. I've got to be careful what I'm saying here. It's not. I'm saying it's academic. It's academic in terms of what's happening now.
It's also perceived now as ancient history.
Yeah, but what I can't get on this is, can't people see how they are treating Jewish people in this country, in the world, with these behaviours? That they, again, the unexamined life. We are now starting to say, if you're from Israel, you can't be a member of this. You can't go in the Eurovision Song Contest. That young woman in the Eurovision Song Contest was pilloried, attacked, abused, but people can't see that bullying, that approach to the Israelis, to the Jewish people.
Because they're bad people.
Yeah.
And we're always taught to be bad, to be unkind.
It's okay.
To bad people.
It's okay to be unkind, to be unfair, to bully, to harangue, to harass
bad people.
Yeah. But that is the dislocation for me, because it's so visible, isn't it? This oppression now of Jewish people, not Israelis, Jewish people.
And again, that's because our education system is so poor. There's no difference between an Israeli and a Jewish person. They have no concept that Israel's a country, and in that country 25% of all citizens are actually Muslim. But a Jewish person isn't an Israeli citizen. They're a citizen of the country they live in. So in this country, every Jew I meet here, and I've got some Jewish friends, are British citizens. They support Israel, but they're not Israelis. So we're now...
Quite a few Jewish people in the UK don't support
Israel. Yeah. So some of them do.
Yeah.
It actually is racist.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing is you're saying because you're of that religion, then we're going to treat you poorly because of what that country's doing, and the majority of those people are like you. Well, I don't live in that country.
Yeah.
It's not my country. This is my country.
Yeah.
It's growing up, and you read about Nazi Germany, and you see, Schindler's List, and you think to yourself, how the hell did that happen? You can understand it in Rwanda to a certain extent, different continents, and we'd say the savages, but we do that to make ourselves feel better, that they're not like us.
But they are.
But they are like us. And you look at Germany, who are our cousins, and you think, how did Nazi Germany happen? And for most of my life, I thought to myself, I've no idea how it happened, but it could never happen again. And this last year, I'm looking around going, this is how it happens.
Yeah.
And if we're not careful, it's going to happen again.
I think, for me, the realisation that it could happen didn't happen in this last year. This last year has been an extension of that. For me, COVID was when it happened for me, when I thought, flipping heck, this really can happen. The lockdowns, the neighbours tittle-tattling, the oppression of people who wouldn't take the vaccine, the marginalisation, the actual hatred against people who wouldn't wear a mask or wouldn't have the vaccine. And you saw that tribal behaviour coming out.
But that was directed at everybody.
Yeah.
A group wasn't picked out
No.
for that authoritarianism.
It wasn't picked out, but they complied.
Yeah.
The people were told, even though the data was totally clear that this was not a deadly disease or whatever, they were told, you have to behave this way. Yeah. If you don't behave this way, if you don't have the vaccine, you're a bad person.
You're going to kill Granny.
Yeah, you're going to kill Granny. And people who didn't have the vaccine or whatever were treated in the same way that you know, a Jewish person would be treated in, the Weimar Republic before, and when that happened for me, that opened my eyes, and I thought, flipping it, this can happen.
Oh yeah.
A government can direct a people to behave in a certain way against all logic and rationale, and they did that, didn't they? You know, the way people were treated. They're still convicting people for COVID crimes now as we speak. So what's happened now with the way that the Jews are being treated in Europe and in the UK is not surprising. It's not surprising me. What keeps surprising me is the fact that people cannot see what they're doing. That's what surprises me. They just cannot see the oppression, the bullying, the hatred they're exhibiting in these situations.
They don't want to see it. They want to be on the side of righteousness.
Yeah.
And Jews are killing Palestinians, so therefore Jews must be bad.
Yeah.
And it's a way for these individuals to validate their own life and their own morality by saying to themselves, I'm actually not a very nice person, and deep down inside I know I'm not a very nice person, and I failed here and I failed there, but if I join this bandwagon,
I become a good person.
So I'm going to join that bandwagon.
Yeah. And the unexamined life again. So there's a presenter in America, a drag queen. And normally our views on drag queens are,
I've actually saw this clip.
Oh, did you see this clip? Yeah.
Last week I saw it. Yeah.
So she's called he is called. I've got to be careful here. He is called Lady Maga. But he's a man who dresses as a woman, a drag queen, which is quite clever. Lady Maga. Yeah. It's a play on Lady Gaga. Yeah. He was a pop star, isn't it? You may not have heard of her.
Yeah, I've heard of Lady Gaga. And Maga, as in, so he's actually must be a Trump supporter.
Yes, which is So it's quite a clever play on words. But of course, because he's a drag queen, he gets access to the progressives, to the people. Because of course, when a drag queen comes, you're welcome. You're one of us now. You know, we hate J.K. Rowling and all that sort of stuff. So he went over to interview pro-Palestinian, and said, "Are you pro-Palestinian or pro-Israel?" Well, and she went, "Pro-Palestinian, of course." Well, of course, pro-Palestinian. Because of course, talking to a drag queen, we're friends. It's like Trump. It's like Farage is an extremist. And so he said, and you've seen the clip. So he said, "Do you know that in Palestine, I would be imprisoned or killed by the Palestinians?" And he said, because they don't tolerate gay people like me. And the reaction from this was just unbelievable. She stopped, she was smiling and laughing, and she went, "Really?" And then you could see her trying to reconcile in her own mind, that gives me something to think about. And then she said, "But the Israelis are the same." And he said, no, the Israelis are...
they have Pride weekends.
Yeah, the Israelis are they're pro-Pride, they're open, they have gay marriage and all that sort of stuff. Oh, really? And then she said, but of course he said any Islamic country, like Palestine, do not tolerate homosexuality. They'll imprison, throw them off buildings. They do that in Iran, don't they? Throw them off buildings or whatever. And so I wouldn't be able to what do you think about that? And he said, "Oh, yeah, but she said Israel's an Islamic country." She said, by the way, she's prefaced this by saying she's studied Middle Eastern. And he said, "No, Israel is a Jewish state. It's not Islamic." And it was somebody who was protesting, a pro-Palestinian protester, but the level of ignorance of that person
on every level
was unbelievable. And again, another example of an unexamined life. Somebody who is following sheepishly, slavishly behaviours, ideas against an entire country and people, who has no idea at all.
And an indictment on the education system.
But if you're that uneducated, why actually go anywhere near these things?
Because you don't realise you're uneducated.
Yeah.
I remember hearing a saying once that within 3 minutes of being in a room, if you've not worked out who the idiot is, it's you.
I must be the idiot. Well, I thought that was really, really good. And
she was being very genuine.
Yeah.
She wasn't abusive. She was trying to learn, and she was shocked. They throw people off roofs, and you can't. She knew nothing about anything.
Yes, yeah.
But yet she wanted to be a good person and protest Israel.
Yeah.
It was great TV.
It was great TV.
But she would imagine now is the butt of every joke of anyone who meets her.
Yeah.
Did you like that video? I think you did. Hit the bell, give it a big thumbs up, comment, and don't forget, I'm standing for election in Oldham East and Saddleworth. So please share this video, speak to your family and friends if you live in Greater Manchester, and if you live in Oldham East and Saddleworth, make sure you vote for me. Catch you soon.